In this video, we are going to populate the item data dictionary behind an item object that will ultimately control the symbology, pop-ups, labels, filters, scale ranges, rather than a feature layer object. So open up the update item data.py script from the feature layer configs folder. Back in the symbology section, I mentioned about the item data, the item JSON data, that if it is an empty dictionary, then you can control a lot of feature layer properties through the feature layer object. But if that item data has a populated dictionary, it is that dictionary that controls the feature layer properties, such as symbology, pop-ups, labeling, scale ranges, and filters, for example. We cannot set a filter without using the item data JSON. You cannot set the filter through the feature layer object. I'm going to pop on over to ArcGIS Online Assistant, and I want to view an items JSON. If we take a look at the park trails, we do not have a data section. This means that the item data JSON has not been set. If I click into another feature layer, such as this county boundaries one here, we can see we have this data section. And in here, there will be layers, and if there was tables, there'll be tables. We can see here that it controls the pop-up, the layer definition, which has the drawing info containing the symbology as the renderer, and it also has the pop-up info that shows the pop-up elements. And if we wanted to add a filter, we'd need to have this data section in our feature service. We currently do not have that for our park trails, so we're going to create it. Let's head back over to the Python script. We're going to create a dictionary that we can add to that JSON item data. Up top, we are importing ArcGIS and also importing copy from the standard Python library to help us copy a dictionary template. We first access ArcGIS Online using the GIS class and supplying in the home string. We assign our GIS object to a variable called agol. Then access our GIS object, the content manager get method, and supply in our feature service item ID, which I'm going to paste in now. The get method will return an item object that will assign to a variable called item. Now we saw in the ArcGIS Online Assistant that the dictionary had a layers entry that defined the layer properties. We're going to create a list called layers that we're going to populate with a layer dictionary. One dictionary for each of our layers, so we're going to have 4 overall. And this layer dictionary mimics what we saw in ArcGIS Online Assistant. We have our layer ID, blend mode, our layer definition that will contain our drawing info, our symbology, and our labels, and then our pop-up information. So for each feature layer object in our item.layers, we're going to get a copy of the layer dictionary. So we make a deep copy of the layer dictionary template. We update the ID to match the feature layer ID. We then grab the drawing info and min scale and max scale from our feature layer object properties and set those to be in the layer definition dictionary in the layer dict. We now want to sort out the pop-up. We create a list, an empty list called field infos. We're going to iterate over each field in the feature layer. So for each field, we'll get the field as a dictionary, so the field definition as a dictionary, and we'll create our pop-up field entry. So for our field name, we'll grab the field name is editable. We'll also get that from the field editable property. We'll set the label to be the field alias and visible to true. We'll then add each field info to our field infos list. We then populate our pop-up info in our dictionary. So you can see here the pop-up info has a pop-up elements property that is a list of pop-up elements, and we're going to target the fields element. So we're targeting the pop-up info, pop-up elements, the first element, which was our fields, and we're going to assign the field infos to be the field infos list that we have created here. We'll then append that newly created overall dictionary to our layers list, which is empty up here, and we'll have 4 dictionary entries in there representing each of our feature layers. We then do the exact same for our tables, except our tables will not have a layer definition property like our layers did. So for each table in our item tables, so for each table object in the tables, we take a deep copy of the table dictionary here, we update the ID, and then we update the pop-up info. The same as we did above, we iterate over each field and create an entry in the field infos, and then we update our pop-up. The last thing to do is to update the item data JSON. We create an update dictionary, we set the property to be text, and then that text to be a dictionary with two properties for layers and tables, and we set our layers list to be our layers and our tables list to be our tables. We then commit the update by calling the item object update method and supplying our update dictionary as the item properties parameter. We'll assign the calling of the update method to a variable called status and print status to screen. So let me run this script. Our script is complete. We were returned true, indicating that the update was successful. Before heading to ArcGIS Online Assistant, I'm going to open up the print item data Python script from the feature layer configs folder, and I'm going to paste in the feature service item ID. We're going to call the get data method on the item object. We've imported JSON up above so we can print the resulting dictionary in a more neatly fashion. So here I call json.dumps and we print the item data at the screen with an indent of 4. So let me run this script. And we can see that get data now returns a populated dictionary with the information that we set when we ran the update item data.py script. I'm going to head over to ArcGIS Online Assistant so we can see this a little bit more clearly. Just remember, our park trails did not have that data section. I'm going to do a refresh and I want to view an items JSON, go back to the park trails, and now we have this data section set where we have our layers and tables defined. Once this is set, this is what controls the properties of your feature layer. And we're going to see that in the next video when we apply a filter. Make sure to continue on to the next video in this series and also make sure to subscribe. Take care.